Welcome to the Lifeline, a production of Simply BJE. The goal of this podcast is to build, inspire, and to empower our listeners through conversations on business, leadership, and mental health. We invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and at www.simplybje.com/the Lifeline. Now, let's tune in for today's episode. Top of the day, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Lifeline. We're your host, life strategist and entrepreneur, Bo Powell, social media influencer and owner of the For Real brand, Lindsberg Petway, and yours truly, leadership consultant and mental health advocate, Barry J. Elliott. You can visit us at www.simplybje.com and on social media on Facebook, Instagram, on YouTube, and now on TikTok. Today, we have a very special guest, Dennis L. Reed II, who is a businessman. He's the CEO and creative genius behind II Productions, and he is doing so many things in the business world and the community. He's making a great impact. So today we're honored that he could fit us into his schedule, literally, because he has so much going on. So today, Mr. Reed, we're glad to have you. How are you this morning?
I'm good, man. I'm glad to be here. How about y'all?
We're good,
Man, we're
man.
good,
We're
man.
we're
Good.
good.
Thank you for
Yeah,
being here.
yeah, happy to have you, man. So let's get this party started, Darius, man. Take us back to the beginning, bro. How did you develop this passion? I mean, what ignited this passion for storytelling like you do?
Um, I think as a kid, we all want to tell stories. Like we all talk about how we want to be. I think
Mm.
that's the start. Like if you hoop, you be talking about, well, when I make it to the NBA, I'm gonna be doing this. You know. And then when you get grown, you be like, okay, when I start doing this, I'm gonna be doing this. So I don't know. I think I always wanted to be able to I think I was always good at just communicating. I don't think I ever wanted to be a writer. I didn't want to be a director. I didn't want to be any of that stuff. That's not what my life was. It's like funny because I hooped, but I was way better in volleyball. But you don't know too many black cats that play volleyball. But I was all state in basketball and then all American in volleyball. And
Mm.
it was just like I didn't really like hooping. My dad played basketball, but I didn't really care about basketball. I really love volleyball. And when I went to college, I went to NC State first, and then when I went to Livingstone, it was like one of them kind of things like I didn't really care about sports. Like, just to be honest with you, I wanted to be a damn drug dealer. I didn't even know anything about wanting to make it to the NBA or make it to the pro volleyball circuit. I wanted to be a drug dealer because in my neighborhood, that's what
Wow.
I seen was like who had the baddest girls, who had the money, who had the cars. It was always the drug dealers. So those are the people I looked up to. So I was thinking to myself, I'm gonna go to college, I'm gonna learn how to be the best drug dealer I could be, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna be giving away turkeys and I'm gonna be giving away Christmas stuff. Bro. I'm gonna pay for kids' college. I'm gonna do all this stuff. That's how I thought. I thought that that's what drug dealing was. And you know, it was just like I just told myself like be the biggest and best drug dealer you could be. And just remember later what made me into start writing. I was talking to my homegirl Erica Martin, but her last name is not Martin now. Ooh, what is Erica? Jones. Her last name Jones. Now I was talking to Erica, and we was just like literally. I gave her a book to read. I think it was True to the Game, and I was like, this is kind of like my life. And I wasn't trying to get on her or nothing. She was just like really a friend. And then she was like, I wanna write a book. I said, well, you write a book, I write a book. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm a drug dealer, I'm a hustler. So you know what? If I write a book, I can sell a book.
Mm.
And we end up writing a book called He Said, She Said together. And then her husband didn't like me because you know how us men are. We don't want to
Mm.
write a girl. So, yo, you gotta get rid of that. So I ended up having to write the end of it by myself. And it was just like one of them kind of things. It was like once I got the writing bug, it just never left. It was like I found myself loving telling the stories. I found myself loving being characters. I found myself loving creating my own universe of human beings that I control who they are. I control what they think. I control if it's hot or cold. And it's funny because my mother used to be like, Didi don't like going outside because he can't control the heat. He can't control the weather. And I'm like, yo, she's right on point. Like I do like to have that control of what goes on around me.
Yeah.
Wow. Um, that's a very oxymoronic drug dealer writing a book, but the mindset that you wanted to write is because you know you could sell it. You've been very transparent about your survival of the near fatal shooting in '05. How did that experience reshape your faith, your mindset, your mission? How did that change your life?
It's funny because I remember, so I got shot April 20th, '05. So like my brother, he got killed on his birthday, September 18th. His daughter was born 3 weeks before, and he got killed 3 weeks, 3 weeks later. So he really never knew his daughter. I already had two kids, but my son Cameron was born April 4th, and then I got shot up April 20th. And it was like 3 weeks later, basically. And I kind of told you the story a little bit, but it was just like getting shot really saved my life because at the time, I was dealing with some people and people was telling, and next thing you know, indictments came out. But because I got shot, I was in the hospital for 31 days, and it's like I'm in the hospital. And one of my friends, Mark, came up there. Mark, everybody last name Jones. That's so funny. Mark Jones came up there. He sells cars too. But he came up there and he was just like, yo, man, I want you to read the book of Job. And I'm like, okay. So I go into the chapel at the hospital and I'm reading it and I'm just looking like, it's not my life, but it's my life. Because I feel like God does things differently for people. So he like literally he takes everything away from you just to give you everything back tenfold. You know what I mean? And it's like the more you believe in him, the more that he give you, the more that you understand that with me, how I try to tell my friends, I be like, God give you a gift. And when he give you a gift, he give you a little success behind that gift. But then he give you a lot of pain in there. And when you get the pain, it's only to see if you doing the gift for money or fame, or are you doing the gift because you really love it. If it's something that you really would do, even if you wasn't getting paid to do it, even if it like make you stay up all night, that's when you know that that gift is your purpose. A lot of us, we start hooping, we do really good in hooping, then we get hurt. Now we don't hoop no more. Or a lot of us will start a business. The business make a little bit of money. Then you have like a messed up month or a messed up year. So now you stop doing it. That's because you really didn't love it. But when you really love it, you be like, yo, let me reinvent it, let me redo it, let me repurpose it, and then you make it even better. And that's what has happened with my whole entire life, because God be testing. People think that everything is going to be given. I've been doing movies for now. I did my first movie 2012, but even before that, I was doing plays, and before that, I was writing books. So it's like I've been doing this literally for 20 years, and people be like, "Oh, you made so much money, and you do this and you do that." Man, if you knew my bills every month, you would be like, you gotta make the money to pay the bills, because the bigger the production, the bigger the paycheck, the bigger the more money you make, I don't really consider it problems, but the more responsibilities you have, and that's, if I didn't have God just knowing that when things are not all the way right, when things are not all the way great, knowing that I'm going to be okay though. Like I never go into anything like I'm going to fail. I know that I'm going to win. I don't know why. I don't know, but I be like, man, Okay, we got to start this movie. The movie 150,000. I got 50,000. That means I need another $100,000 in 10 days. Okay. And somehow it always happens. But that's because of my belief. I know what I'm doing, and every bad thing that happened to me 15 years ago or 10 years ago, it made it easier for me to be able to do what I do now. So a problem that would have made me stop a production 15 years ago, it's like, oh, all you gotta do is do this. Oh, we good, and that's how this thing works. So God give you tests for you can learn how to, get through problems later. So,
Yeah, man, that's huge. So I know you were born, I believe, on the East Coast, New York, but
right.
ended up growing up in Detroit.
Mhm.
So talk to us about how do you feel like Detroit may have influenced the kind of story you choose to tell with your production company, DR2 Productions.
Um, I don't know if I tell Detroit stories. I think I just tell stories. You know what I mean? So it's like I always when I wrote drug movies, there was always the upper middle class drug movies. Like I wasn't talking about the dude on the block. I would talk about the dude that was bringing it to the block. You know, but now I haven't been doing them kind of stories. Now my stories are more just dramas, so that's just like relationship stuff. Like I just did a high school thing with Jalen Rose called Southwest High. Then I just wrote a show called The Mayor that I'm about to start filming in January. We just got done with like a female-based thing called We Different. I just write dramas, and I don't think it's like a New York or Detroit thing. It's more of just a Dennis thing of just my life. It's like I make a joke. I'm like, every woman I ever been with cheated on me, right? And it's true, but it's not that they cheated because they were just cheaters, but they cheated because Dennis is just not a person that has been able to give the time, the effort into a relationship that somebody really need. You know what I mean? It's like I'm totally in love, but I'm totally in love with my business and making it the brand that I need it to be. And it's sad because a lot of people when you in this life that I'm in, you sacrifice time with family, you sacrifice time with friends, you sacrifice time with your girl, you sacrifice time with God, you sacrifice time with yourself, you know, and that sacrifice brings a lot of pain, but it brings a lot of happiness too. The sad part about me is I wish I was doing this when I was 2021 instead of doing that when I was 2021. Because your 20s is what really when you start to really be able to grind. And I didn't really start being able to grind until like 10 years later, like when I was 30, 31. So that's when I started really getting into this grind. So I just imagine what I would have been doing if I was 21 doing it. But, I think everybody has the time for what it's going to be.
So you mentioned the sacrifice of and we could just call it the entertainment industry, right? How can that be mentally, emotionally, and physically draining? And how do you protect your peace, stay grounded, when all of the chaos and the requirements of budgets, deadlines, movies, putting them on different platforms? It's a lot that goes into the backstory of getting a movie out there. So how do you stay grounded?
The gym is heavy for me.
Yeah.
Um, like I always tell Derek, I'm like, you changed me from being a fat boy in the gym because I was the fat boy. And it's like that that early in the morning, it starts my day the right way.
Right.
I talk to God every day. Like if you ever look at my social media, I wake up to first thing I put on social media is good morning, Jesus. Thank you for the wake up call. Because all day I'm talking to God, I'm talking to my mama all day. My mama dead. I talk to her all day, like, okay, how do I do this? you know, and now more than anything is just staying away from people. You
Mm.
know, people are very draining. And the sad part is you don't know why people speak to you. You know, like I try to explain to a friend the other day, like when somebody meets you and like, hey Sean, how you doing? Like, I'm good. You know that they meeting Sean. They don't know nothing about Sean. They just want to meet Sean, and Sean is cool. But when somebody meet Dennis Reed, it's a different ball game. Why are you trying to be my friend? What do you want from me? And it sounds crazy, but it's like your own family be like that. Your family uses you more than the street people uses you. And now it's like just protecting my peace. Like it's okay not to answer the phone for people. It's okay to say no. It's okay not to speak. It's okay to walk on by. It's okay not to show up to people events. It's okay, and it's okay to say no. Like that's like one of the biggest things for me. I had to learn to really say no, and it and it's a test because it's easy to tell you no. It's easy to tell you no, but it's hard to tell your sister no. You know what I mean? So those are things that I've learned and I'm still dealing with. Like just telling people no, telling people I don't want to do it, telling people I don't care about how you feel because I really don't. And it sound harsh and it sound mean, but you have to be that way.
So when you were starting the production company, were you more visible just to get it out there, get your name out there, going to different events and different things like that?
Yeah, I will go, but most people, and it's sad because everybody cheer for you when you going up. But when you get a little bit above them cheers start to be hate. Like I had a guy, and I'll never forget this because it happened like about 6 months ago. It's a guy I put on. I mean, I'm talking. I put this dude on so heavy, and I made a post, and the post was like, "Who is Dennis Reed? Why Dennis Reed think he this? Why Dennis Reed think he that?" It was a video. And then somebody sent me a video of dude like when people talk about themselves in the third person, they think they God and this and that. I'm like, bro, like, are you kidding me? It's like this world is just so fickle, man. So now I don't want to be part of the world. I want to be part of my world, my universe. I can't care about what people think. And the more and more I get like that, the more and more I gotta watch who I help. I know when you're in a Dennis Reed movie, you're gonna blow up. I know. And it's like you know how like you give somebody $1 and you say, did you give that person $1 because you were trying to buy their friendship? Did you give that person $1 because you were trying to make yourself feel better? Or did you give that person $1 because they needed it? And sometimes all of them is one thing. What I have to do now in my life is I have to say, you know what? I have to detach myself from friendships because they're not real friendships. They are really, well, let me take that back. You have to know the difference between friendships. It's your work friends and your real friends, and you have to know the difference. You have to know the difference because your work friends are there when work is there. Your real friends are there through everything. And you can't get mad at somebody for being a work friend. You have to let them know their place and you have to understand their place. And a person like me, I've always wanted, I hooped, I played volleyball. Like I love team stuff, you know, but everybody not supposed to be on your team
Correct.
like that. You know, some people may be free agents and you brought them in just to be that, but they can't always, they're not going to be there when the times are rough. And you have to understand that. And that is something that I didn't understand in this business. You know, I thought that when you said you love me, you really love me. When really you love what I could do for you, not love me. And that's the hardest thing about this whole thing with me.
Wow. I'm before Pedway asks his last question, I want to ask you this question. I go to therapy and I'm very honest about that. And I was talking to my therapist this past week, and he asked me a question. He said, "So who is your safe place? You know, who are the people that you can talk to now?" And he said this. He said, and I knew this already, but he just affirmed what I already knew. He said, "Everybody can't handle all of who you are. So there's certain people you talk with about certain things, and certain people you don't talk about certain things with. So I want to ask you, with all that you have on you, with all the responsibility, with all of the pressure that comes with being the leader of all of the enterprises that you've undertaken, who is your safe place?"
I don't think it's just a hoop. It's like, so when it comes to um family stuff, like how should I deal with this or how should I deal with that, is normally Levine, right? Because she one of them kind of people that she loves everybody. So she literally sees everybody's side and give great advice. When it comes to business, it's normally Levon and Saya. Saya is like my right hand at NDR2. And I think that both of them are really, 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 really dope at keeping me grounded with the right thoughts. When it comes to overall me and stuff, it's probably Derek or Jalen Rose or Tom Hopkins. It's probably them three because like Derek is more of the person that he is more like business and understand the pressures of being me. When you have a bunch of people that are tagging at you, Jalen Rose, he been in the spotlight for dang on near 30 years, 40 years, and understand the pressures of everybody needing and wanting him and needing like a bunch of stuff like that. And then Tom Hopkins, I think that with him, he the one who asked me, am I okay? Like he the one that be like, yeah, bro, it's okay to say no, man. It's okay to get away. It's okay to do this. So like those five people are really my people. You know what I mean? And it's funny, I would add one more and I would say my daughter because like me and her history is like rocky. Like when I got shot up, her uncle, the one that shot me, her mama was like, her mama wasn't in on it, but her mama dude was in on it, and me and her relationship was very, 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 very rocky. But with her, she is out of all my kids, she is the one most like me. She think like me. She move like me. And I didn't raise her like I raised my boys. She is the one that like I tell people all the time, like if I'm going to war with somebody, don't call my sons, call Jazz, because Jazz coming right. You know what I mean? And me and her conversations be kind of dope because she really, really understands. Like, I think with her, she fought for my love when my sons was giving my love, if that make any sense. You know what I mean? So I think that with her, she understands what it is not to have a great father when my boys understood that's all they knew. And I think like they take advantage of it sometimes. With her, she respected and she loved the love and just her conversations be dope. Like she like, Dad, they just don't understand, and Dad, they need to do this, and Dad, I need to do this, or Dad, and that's so I say them six people.
Yeah, that's powerful to have
It is.
that village. And I see in the mornings the village with Derek, because sometimes you guys do more talking than training. And I come over and say, let's get this money.
Right.
Um, so how would you, and I think you kind of already hit on this, encourage other men, other CEOs, other men who have a lot of responsibility, especially black men, to talk about their pain, their purpose, even their mental space? How would you tell them that? Do you journal? Do you write? Since you're a writer, do you sometimes write what you go through during your days to kind of release?
I don't really journal. I do a lot of lives, and with my lives, I think people be thinking I'm talking to them, and I'm talking to myself.
Yes.
Like I be literally like, yo, you gotta do this and you have to do that. Like you have to be dope. You don't. I try to tell like the people around me, and that's a pet way. I promise. Like you have to be very careful who you give advice to. And I'm learning that more and more because everybody don't really want your advice. And you give it to people hoping that they know your battles and your struggles, but people really don't really want it. So the people that come to me and ask me, I gotta ask them a question like, do you really want the truth? And can you handle the truth? Because people want us to tell them what they doing is right and they could be doing it 100% wrong. And a lot of times when you know that they're doing it wrong, you trying to stop them from doing it wrong, and then they mess up and you like, man, I told you. Like now it's hard for me to have those conversations with people and try to tell them how advice. It's hard. It's hard for me. So when I'm on my lives, I'll be like, listen, when things ain't right, you have to be the person to encourage yourself. When you walk in the room, you are the star. I don't care if Michael Jordan in there. I don't care if Jay-Z in there. I don't care who's in the room. You are the star. You, because you your own star. You can't spend any money. You can't use their name for any credential stuff. You have to build your own brand. You have to make them want to know your name. And those are advices I give in my life. Those are advices that I give when I talk to people that I feel understand me a little bit. Because so many times people waiting for people to come save them. Bro, you the only one that can save you. Your work ethic, your belief in your God, your belief in yourself, your belief in saying I gotta make sure that my family don't starve. A lot of people don't understand like $1 million ain't no money. I remember when only thing I wanted to do, bro, and I'll never forget, like my one of my kids' mom cheated on me, and I knew the person that found out the persons that she was cheating on me with. Only thing I want to do is make $230,000 a year because if you added up all their money, that's how much the three of them made in a year. And I remember making like 300 in a month for the first time. And I was so over her, right? But then I'd be thinking to myself, like, I made 300 in a month, and that's not no money. That's not money. And then when you have a bunch of money, if you're not happy spiritually, money ain't nothing. If you have a bunch of money and you don't know what to do with that money, it ain't nothing. Like the advices that I give be stuff like that. And people sometimes get it, sometimes don't. You know, like people selling their souls and selling just selling who they are just for a light, selling it just for a couple of dollars. Like you're never gonna see me do no movies and I'm putting no dude in those dresses. Like
Mm.
I I'm not I don't care if a person is gay or straight. That's not my thing. But I'm not gonna ever make a straight man play a gay role. Like that's just how I think. I'm not doing stuff for money. I'm doing stuff I entertain, but I'm entertaining the stuff that I like. Like I just did a series called We Different. I didn't write it, and it was a gay role in there. And I had straight guys like I'll play that role. Well, why would you want to play that role when you're not gay? Like that, it's mind boggling to me the things that people do for likes. You know what I mean? It's mind boggling to me the things people do for money. It's mind boggling to me that you can't even have a real friend that literally will be your true friend because they not getting nothing from you. And then you got these people that say they're your friend and they know just for they can use your name. Like my assistant, it's funny. She told me, she said, "I don't want you around this one particular guy. He uses your name. He talk bad about you behind your back. Only thing he want to do is just use your name to get all the girls and do this and that." And she is adamant about it. And this my assistant. I'm talking about dude came around yesterday. She was like, "I'm telling you, Dennis, he a snake. Just listen to me." And it's like I have all these women around me that all protect me. Like they like, nah, you have to watch these people. And they normally right. I got 5 sisters. So it'd be like I have women around me all the time. The one thing about a woman when they love you, and we not talk about if you sleeping with them or if you giving them money, that I'm talking when they genuinely love you, they gonna tell you if somebody right for you or not. And they tell you like that person right there. And a lot of times we don't want to believe it, but we have to, you know.
Yeah. Man, that's powerful, man. Unfortunately, we got to bring this episode to a close. But before we do that, Dennis, for those who may not know who you are, how can they connect with you on on the internet, whether social media, about your books? You got several books and things like that. How can they take advantage of those? Some of your movies, if you want to make mention of those, how can people connect with Dennis Reed?
Well, you go to dr2productions.com. So www.dr the number 2productions.com. I'm on social media, Dennis Reed, and with 2 eyes on Instagram, Facebook, and X, and I think what is it? I'm on everything. TikTok, all that. Then movie wise, all my movies are on TV on Tubi or Peacock, Amazon Prime with a couple. Books, I'm sure they are Amazon. Haven't written a book in so long. I think I need to write another one. Um, then you can always look for me at the studio or at Mighty Wing Shop or at Comfort Zone, one of the places I own. I'm accessible to the right people. I try to be around, try to help the community a little bit.
That's that's what's up, man. Well, this concludes another episode of the Lifeline with your host, Barry J. Elliott, Lynchburg Petway, and yours truly, Bo Powell. Don't forget to check us out at www.simplybje.com/the Lifeline and on social media. Look, we're on a mission. We want to bring light and life into your household, so join us and let us hear your feedback because it's all about bringing life to you on the Lifeline. Y'all take care.
Thank you for listening to today's episode with host, business expert, and life coach Bo Powell, social media influencer and entrepreneur Lynchburg Petway, and leadership coach and mental health advocate Barry J. Elliott. Join us next week for another impactful conversation on the Lifeline. God bless.